Shaquille O'Neal is well known for playing annoying pranks on his teammates and colleagues, but who would have ever thought he'd try that in his marriage? Well, I'm not saying he did, but since his ex-wife Shawnee Henderson says she's happy that Shaq has finally admitted that he's a it's safe to assume he did a whole lot wrong. Keep watching this video to get the full scoop. What you need to know. Shawnee Henderson has come out to say that she is glad that Shaq is taking stock of their marriage and acknowledging his mistakes. The former Mrs. O'Neal says, and I quote, "I'm glad he was able to express how he really feels. I honestly don't have a position on it. Such a long time ago. Life has taken me to a new stage. What he needs to express is his truth, and it is what it is." In an interview with People, former Lakers player Shaq talked about his 9-year marriage to Shawnee and admitted that he was to blame for it ending. The big man says, "I was an arse. You can't truly appreciate something until it's gone." The pair got hitched in 2002 and their divorce was finalized in 2011. They have 4 kids together. Shawnee's moving on. On May 28th, Keon Henderson, who is a preacher, wed Shawnee at the Aurora Anguilla Resort and Golf Club. The couple dated for 2 years before getting engaged in November 2021. They donated a park together to honor their love and marriage, since they fell so deeply in love with the island of Anguilla. When asked if she was happy that her ex-husband had admitted his responsibility in their divorce, she said, and I quote, "I don't need that affirmation. I feel rather secure in who I am and what I've accomplished, and what I've achieved and the things I've worked on to become a better person. I don't need approval from other people in order to bare my chest. Currently, I am at my healthiest in life." She says she wants to put her previous marriage behind her. Shawnee was also asked about her previous marriage, and she had this to say, "Absolutely, I get tired of the Shaq queries. You get what I mean when I say, I just don't know if such queries are important almost 13 years later. You are more than welcome to ask questions about Keon Henderson at any time, so shoot." Shawnee and Keon's Destination I Do, which is a new reality series, debuts on November 28th. Dwight Howard ripped Shaq over criticism of play in Taiwan. Shaquille O'Neal publicly criticized former NBA player Dwight Howard for his play in Taiwan's T1 League, and in a recent Instagram live session, Howard responded to the NBA veteran by calling O'Neal's remarks as disrespectful. While playing for the Taiwan Leopards, Howard recently defeated a new Taipei team 120-115, racking up 38 points and 25 rebounds. Along with making 10 three-pointers, the 8-time NBA All-Star also contributed 9 assists and 4 blocks. O'Neal is unimpressed.
When I put it back in, it said decline again, so now I'm saying, I know I'm not broke.
Spice Adams questioned O'Neal about Howard's play in Taiwan in an episode of The Big Podcast. Speaking of Howard's performance in the Taiwan Basketball League, Shaq says, "You're meant to be a good father, so why should you ever receive praise for it? Howard should score 30 points when up against guys who are 5'8". Howard was obviously upset by O'Neal's remarks, and after talking about jealousy for a while, he addressed O'Neal's remarks. Howard says, and I quote, "This message is for Shaq. You need to quit hating your brother. Stop hating, you idiot. Never in my life have I confronted you about your basketball career, family, kids, or anything like, since it is unnecessary. There is too much of the world to hate on another guy. Have I made jokes, imitated your voice, or imitated what I see on television? You all do that. Funny people do that. People frequently engage in that, and I consistently treat everyone that way. I don't, however, despise people. So quit hating. I watched a video of you discussing my basketball career in Taiwan. I currently compete in the Lifetime Fitness League. Respect the Taiwanese folks and my teammates instead of acting that way. That is extremely hateful and disrespectful. You're too old to be hating too. You are too powerful to hate." Howard played for a combined total of 18 seasons for the Orlando Magic, Los Angeles Lakers, Houston Rockets, Charlotte Hornets, Philadelphia 76ers, and Washington Wizards, after being picked with the first overall choice in the 2004 NBA Draft. Shaquille O'Neal regrets famous feud with Kobe Bryant. "I just should have called."
Anything could be host. I didn't want to believe it. And then I got the call from you, Charles.
For years, Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant engaged in one of the most well-known feuds in NBA history. Eventually, the two ex-Los Angeles Lakers superstars reconciled, but Bryant would later die in a helicopter crash in 2020. O'Neal has a lot of regrets, even though their connection got better before Bryant passed away. "You put off reaching out," O'Neal said to People magazine. "I'll never again be able to see Kobe in person, and I ought to have made a call. He ought to have dialed. Both of us ought to have dialed. However, both of us were working, so it's, I'll see you when I see you." The juvenile dispute. Their dynastic period was highlighted by what coach Phil Jackson called a juvenile dispute that included squabbling over shirt sales and making public jabs at the press, according to Lakers Nation, even though they were on the same Lakers team from 1996 to 2004 and shared 3 NBA championships. In the end, O'Neal demanded a trade and switched from the Lakers to the Miami Heat in 2004, and while millions were saddened by the breakup of that relationship, the two were eventually able to work things out. Shaq's regrets.
And all I had to do was pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I miss you. hey, I love you. Hey, what you doing? So after we get off this...
Sadly, after Bryant passed away on January 26, 2020, O'Neal paused to consider their connection. Other things shouldn't have taken precedence over contacting each other, but minor issues prevented it from happening, O'Neal says. Shaq made the decision to make a significant life shift shortly after Bryant passed away. O'Neal is the focus of the 4-part HBO docuseries Shaq, which starts this week. O'Neal said on the Big Podcast with Shaq that because you never know, he wanted to remove my beef and confrontation clause and get rid of all unresolved disputes in his life. The tributes pour in. O'Neal said when paying tribute to his old teammate at a Celebration of Life event in February 2020 that he and Kobe had a very complex relationship, but he compared it to that of John Lennon and Paul McCartney, who collaborated on some of the greatest songs of all time. Kobe and I pushed each other to produce some of the best basketball ever played, according to O'Neal. And yes, we occasionally quarreled like immature children. But be clear, even when people believed we were at odds, he and I would wink at each other and say, let's go whoop some when the cameras were off. In the end, O'Neal admitted to People that he hadn't had enough time to adequately absorb his friend's passing. However, O'Neal didn't take much time to establish one habit that he advises for others as well, as evidenced by his prompt decision to terminate any unresolved beefs. While advising others to resolve personal quarrels, he said, call your mother, give your brother a call, call the college party buddy from back home. Infinity is a very long time. Is Shaquille O'Neal's biggest NBA beef with Dwight Howard? One of the greatest basketball riffs of all time was between Shaq and Kobe. It lasted for years, even though the two still managed to keep it professional and win titles together. Now, it seems Dwight Howard is now Shaq's biggest enemy. Despite never having worked together, O'Neal has a long history of disparaging Howard. The most recent instance occurred when O'Neal downplayed Howard's 38 points, 25 rebounds, and 9 assists in a professional basketball game in Taiwan. O'Neal claimed that the performance was unimportant in his podcast. In reference to Dwight Howard's performance in Taiwan, Shaquille O'Neal remarked, he's expected to have 30 points playing against fellas 5'8". How did Shaq's beef with Howard start? As far as disagreements are concerned, you'd expect that it would start over something serious. However, that is not always the case, as we have seen with Shaq and Howard. Believe it or not, the cause of the problem between the two basketball superstars stems from a nickname. Yes, a simple nickname. Ever since Howard claimed the moniker Superman, which O'Neal had previously used for himself, the two big men have been at odds. But wait, isn't Clark Kent the one who's supposed to be angry? Anyway, O'Neal has faced a lot of rivals over the years. Bryant and former Heat center Alonzo Mourning are among them. It was also rumored that he had some conflicts with Dwayne Wade. Howard, however, appears to be O'Neal's main target for now. We'll have to wait and see how long this rivalry will continue. So guys, do you think Shaq should take his own advice and squash the beef with Howard now that he has the chance? Let us have your thoughts in the comment section. And if you enjoyed watching this video, kindly give it a like and share so your buddies can watch it too. One more thing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tap the notification bell to keep getting more interesting videos like this. Thanks for watching.